I love this generation of Black Americans right now. Honestly, I so much admire this generation of Black Americans right now. Guys, Black Americans literally are sending message to Donald Trump. Like, this is actually not the first time they are literally sending message, but this message is particularly powerful. I love it when people are fearless, to be honest. And I love it where even when you're trying to silence our voice, we are not going to be silent because we are seeing everything that is happening. For crying out loud, your regime is not one of the best. How can we make the orange man to understand if we do not send messages? You people will think that these messages that we are sending that the orange man is not seeing. He's literally seeing all of these messages. His cabinets, they will show him and be like, are you seeing what black people are saying? And he will look at it and welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's go watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
Donald Trump has spent years telling us who belongs in this country and who doesn't. So let's talk about his family, shall we? Trump's grandfather was born Friedrich Trump in 1869 in Bavaria. Germany had mandatory military service. Friedrich was required to serve. Instead, he chose to escape the country altogether. He was 16. He bought a one-way ticket, boarded a ship, and sailed to America. Without completing his military service, without officially registering his departure, without doing a single thing he was legally required to do before leaving, he just left. And this country welcomed him anyway. Eventually, he made his way to the Pacific Northwest. Then he followed the gold rush into Canada. During the Klondike Gold Rush, he moved to Yukon and made his fortune operating a restaurant and brothel for miners in Whitehorse. This is not an interpretation. A contemporary Yukon newspaper reported on it directly. The rooms had weighing scales in them, so miners could pay in gold dust for rendered services. The bulk of the cash flow came from the sale of liquor and sex, and that money got passed down. That is the foundation. That is his foundation. So when Friedrich had enough, he packed up his stuff and went back to Germany, got married, and tried to reclaim German citizenship and settle back home. Germany, however, said no. A local council letter from 1905 informed Friedrich that his citizenship would not be reinstated, and that he had 8 weeks to leave the country or be deported. The official reason? He had illegally left Germany to avoid military service 20 years earlier and never bothered to officially unregister from his hometown. Germany deported him for being a draft dodger. Now, here's where history hands us something extraordinary. Friedrich Trump did not go quietly. This man wrote a letter to the Prince Regent of Bavaria, begging, and I mean begging, not to be sent away. He wrote, "We were confronted all at once, as if by lightning strike from fair skies, with news that the High State Royal Ministry has decided that we must leave our residence in the Kingdom of Bavaria. We were paralyzed with fright. Our happy family life was tarnished. My wife has been overcome by anxiety, and my lovely child has become sick. Why should we be deported? This is very, very hard for a family." And the prince rejected him. Friedrich left Germany on July 1st, 1905. His wife, 3 months pregnant with Donald Trump's father, Fred. That letter sat in a German archive for over 100 years. A historian found it in 2016. The Associated Press confirmed it. Harper's Magazine published a full translation. It's real, it exists. You can read it. Friedrich Trump, illegal immigrant, draft dodger, brothel operator, deportee, wrote a letter that said the deportation was cruel and unjust, and very, very hard for a family. His grandson has deported parents in front of their children, has signed orders removing people who had lived here for decades. He's called immigrants criminals. He's called them an infestation. The German historian who found the deportation document put it simply. Trump talks against illegal immigration, so I think he should remember his own family story from time to time. And here's the final thing that I need you to sit with. If the Prince of Bavaria had said yes, if they had let Friedrich stay, Donald Trump would not exist. Not here, anyway. He's here because a deportee begged for mercy and got on a ship. He's here because this country let in an illegal immigrant who had broken the law, dodged a draft, and made his money however he could. He's here because of exactly the kind of person that he's trying to erase.
To say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. In the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than its hate.
I want to shut the fuck up sometime. They question Kamala Harris' race, but never Donald Trump's race. Dude's German as fuck. Granddad came here as an illegal immigrant, stayed here for 20 years, from 1885 to 1905. Look that shit up. They never even questioned Donald Trump's record. Black candidates don't get equal treatment. They get examined, questioned, scrutinized before they even get a chance to run. Policy, ignored. Track record, ignored. But their identity, always under scrutiny. Even by people that claim to be allies. People that claim to be social activists. Even people that claim to use their influencer platforms to tear down systems of oppression. They double down on discriminating against people every chance they get, somehow in furtherance of this mission to represent, include, and give equity to all people. They end up alienating and being offensive to and discriminatory towards every group of people that they say that they represent. Social media influencers are and always have been full of shit. Question everybody on this app, even me. Global Black Youth.
Trump's first wife, Ivana. She was born in Czechoslovakia and wanted a better life. So she first married an Austrian in a sham marriage to obtain Austrian citizenship, divorced that guy remotely, then came to the U.S. in 1976, married Trump, and became a citizen 12 years after she arrived. This is Trump's mother. Born in Scotland, she wanted a better life too. She boarded a boat and immigrated to the U.S. in 1930, worked as a, quote, domestic servant for 4 years, and also became a citizen 12 years after arriving here. This is Trump's third wife. As a child, Melania was born in Yugoslavia, came to the U.S. on a travel visa, but broke the law immediately by working here. 4 years later, somehow, she gets fast-tracked, and get this, gets an Einstein or genius visa and becomes a U.S. citizen 10 years after arriving. This is Trump's grandfather, who came to the U.S. from Germany to start a better life, breaking a Bavarian law, by the way, and eventually opened a restaurant and brothel in the U.S., breaking another U.S. law. This year is one of more than 100,000 immigrants that Trump has arrested because he, too, wanted a better life, just like members of the Trump clan. If Trump seriously wants to deport every immigrant who has come here and broken the law, he doesn't have to look very far. Do you know what I mean?
The reason why I won't be silent is so much deeper. See, when you ask a black person in America to shut up and play along, You don't understand the hurt, the pain, the generational trauma that comes with us. So y'all think this is a fucking joke, white folk. We black people have been carrying... We've been carrying our ancestors on our back. You will never understand if you're not a black American what it entails to put up with the bullshit. And that's lack of a better word. And the only reason I'm using that word is because so many of you all, particularly if you're white people and you are uneducated and you don't inarticulate, just like our president, you don't understand loftier language. So I'm not going to speak in my educated language. I'm going to speak on your level. What black people need from you is to acknowledge the original sin of slavery and how heinous it was. And even though you did not commit it yourself, the DNA of your ancestors runs in your blood. And all we need. Because we've given up on reparations. We know y'all ain't gonna give us shit. We just want acknowledgement. And until we get it, we're not gonna shut up. And you know that. That's why you fight so hard to keep us down and oppress us. But every time you try, it backfires and it falls on you because we are God's chosen. In spite of what others have told you and lied and say they were, we are God's chosen. The first shall be last and the last shall be first.
Trump is doing everything in his power to bait black people, and it's only getting worse because black people aren't falling for anything at all right now. But the thing is, when white people have been protesting, and all of these protests have been so civil, none of them have even been streamed on TV because they're not violent. They don't get violent with white people, but they have no problem getting violent with black people. And they know if they can get black people out to protest and to fight for our rights yet again, they can enact martial law and they can throw us all in jail if we ever think of rebelling. And I'm not living in a military city. No offense, but I don't respect any authority at all whatsoever. That's my issue. I'm also not afraid of cops. I'm not afraid of the military. I've had cops with guns in my faces. I've had cops with giant horses and guns in my faces while I protested before. I will have a traffic stop and there will be multiple cops that get out for me at a traffic stop. And I've never been scared of y'all because the thing is, y'all get off on people being scared. That's the only way y'all can't get me. Like, none of you bitches scare me. Y'all are like my little brother with his toy gun. Like, oh my God, you're gonna get me. Like, quit playing with your food and just do what you want to do. But everybody else is just a chess piece. Everybody else is. The only group that he's actually after is black people. That's why he's deporting Latinos, because who's gonna work in the fields now? With black female unemployment rate reaching an all-time high. That's why he's cutting Medicaid. That's why you're trying to regulate food stamps. That's why you cut the weather service. That's why you cut the only accessible piece of media to every single child in the country, poor and rich. He literally said, he was like, they were on a farm and he was talking about farmer responsibility, as in people could live on these farms with these farmers and they could just build property on the land and people could live here and work on the fields. Does that not sound familiar? Make America Great Again is bringing back slavery, bringing back black people in shackles. That's all it is. That's literally everything. And I think he knows that black people aren't falling for it, which is why he's getting more intense and more aggressive with his tactics. Because black people aren't falling for anything right now. We're not protesting. We're not fighting. We're just minding our business.
350,000 black women were laid off. It's serious. And it's going to get worse. More black women are going to get fired. And black men. People don't know where their last meal, not that last meal, but next meal is going to come from. People don't know how they're going to pay their bills. Dog, this economy is effed up. People are suffering. Doctors were getting laid off. Nurses getting laid off. This stuff is affecting everybody, bro. If you don't believe in Jesus, you might want to start. You might want to throw up a prayer, because it's going to get worse. Listen, it's going to get worse. It is a darn shame that in today's times, you need at least 5 sources of income just to make ends meet, bro. It's up to the American people to put the pressure on the government. It's up to the American people, bro. Might want to try something. If there was ever a time to be revolutionary, might want to start.
With your quota, he would cut off your hands. King Leopold II of Belgium became the king of the Belgians in 1865, and he looked around at all these other European nations and literally said, they have colonies, why can't I have one? He knew that the only way he could get approval for Belgium to become a colonizing nation was to prove himself a humanitarian. He was going to save the people of the Congo. Because that's what a lot of these colonizing nations thought themselves to be. We are saving these black and brown people from their depravity, from their lack of intellectualism, from their lack of religion. 1885, he takes control of the Congo, making it the Congo Free State. In the 1890s, rubber becomes a worldwide commodity. We need it for bikes, we need it for cars. They would force the people of the Congo to extract this rubber from rubber trees, which was a very dangerous practice. And if you or your family were failing to meet their rubber quota, he would have your wives kidnapped, your children kidnapped. If they were killed by a bullet from Leopold's secret police, the corpse was required to have a hand cut off, and it soon moved to cutting the hands and or feet off from living people to prove a point. And disturbingly enough, one of the most popular desserts you can buy in Antwerp, Belgium right now is called Antwerp Hands. This dessert was created in 1934, and the people of Antwerp will tell you that it has nothing to do with Leopold's legacy. Rather, it has everything to do with folklore of their city. Now, we don't know how many people had their hands cut off on Leopold's orders. We do know that over 10 million Congolese people died. We do know that they are selling chocolate hands in Belgium to this day. Folk have asked me where they can go get some more education on Leopold in the Congo. Leopold's Ghost is a great place to start. Congo, My Country by Patrice Lumumba, their first democratically elected leader. It's a good book to read. I also have a podcast episode on the Congo as well as a 30-minute YouTube video on King Leopold out right now. Pop quiz, who is this? Adolf Hitler, good. Pop quiz, who's this? You don't know, do you? The average American can tell you who Adolf Hitler is, but they can't tell you who King Leopold II of Belgium is. And I think that that is an indictment on the American educational system. We're always taught about the Holocaust, how Adolf Hitler oversaw the extermination of over 10 million people, as we should. We should be taught about that. But why aren't we taught about a genocide that this man oversaw 30 years before the Holocaust? In 1884, European powers split Africa. They partitioned it. They basically said, hey, I want this country because it has that resource. King Leopold wanted the Congo, and he created the Congo Free State and oversaw the Congo Free State from 1885 to 1908. This was during the period of a rubber boom worldwide. People needed rubber for cars. People needed rubber for bikes. And guess where you can find a lot of rubber? The Congo. So King Leopold utilized secret police to basically enslave the people of the Congo to extracting rubber. And if they missed a quota, they would get their hands cut off. He said, for every bullet you use, I need a hand in return. In those 20 or so years, historians estimate that he killed over 15 million Congolese people. Not only did he kill this many people, they also estimate that the population of the Congo shrunk from 20 million to 10 million people. The reason I think it's so problematic that we have this massive gap in our education system is that it seems that when it's Black people or people of color that are being genocided, it doesn't matter. You would think that King Leopold lived in the 1500s. But no, him and Hitler were alive at the same time. His rule over the Congo ended in 1908 and he died in 1909. The Holocaust starts like 30 years later. What King Leopold did in the Congo be traced directly to the Democratic Republic of Congo's instability to this day. It set the course and set the precedent for the exploitation of Africa's resources that we're still seeing to this day. I think this is going to be a part of a new series called Open the Schools Again, because we need to all go back to school. There are gaps.
Was they made up a story about us. They made up lies about us. They said that we were violent, that we were animalistic, that we had no self-control, that we were unintelligent, had low IQ. They made up a story about us. Then they put facts behind it. They took all of the, education out of our schools, gave us the bad curriculum. They over-policed us so they could have the facts on how we, are more violent because they were policing us, so they were arresting us more. So they have the facts on how we are arrested more. They had facts on black on black crime because they put drugs in our community and didn't give us jobs and made us have poverty, so made us have more crime. So they made up all of these facts. They juked the stats. They made the facts to go with their story. They made the conditions that would allow for the facts that would go with the story they were trying to tell. Then when they had all these facts, they came up with Project 2025, which was contingent upon the facts that they had. They just knew, because for years and years and years, they have made all of this evidence of who black people are. But what did Cat Williams say? The liar knows the lie they told. So they made up all these lies about us, made facts to go with the lies, and then decided that they were true. They believed their own lies. Now we're not behaving according to the lies, and they scrambling. Because we were never that. We were never a violent people. We were never an unintelligent people. We were never an impulsive people. We weren't that. We never hated each other. We always loved each other. We always had community. We always had these things. And when push comes to shove, we show it, like Montgomery Brawl. And now they scrambling because we aren't what they portrayed us to be. We aren't the conditions they put us in. We're us. And we have something that they couldn't shake. They couldn't ever tap into. They never understood how we could be in those conditions and still have joy and still have creativity. They never understood that. And I don't think black people understood it either. Because we all got on the same page without any type of Zoom meeting, without any type of leader. We don't need that. We are the people. We are them. We are who we think we are. 100%. And we not.
They told me that the Holocaust was the worst thing to ever happen to humanity. And that's a lie. I grew up in New York. And from the time I was old enough to sit in a classroom, they began building a story in my mind. Not gradually, not subtly, but deliberately. Field trips to the Holocaust Museum, mandatory screenings, books, films, survivor testimonies, year after year after year. From elementary school through high school, the message was consistent and it was clear. This was the worst thing that ever happened to a human being. They didn't frame it as one of the worst. They didn't present it alongside other atrocities for comparison. They didn't invite debate or critical thinking. They told a black child in New York whose ancestors were stolen, chained, sold, and broken across 400 years of systematic terror that someone else's tragedy was the pinnacle of human suffering. That's not education. That's indoctrination. And I was young enough and trusting enough and had no framework yet to question it. So I absorbed it like you absorb anything they hand to you before you're old enough to ask why. It took years to unlearn. Let's talk about scale for a second. The transatlantic slave trade, 12 to 15 million human beings were forcibly removed from their homes. Millions dead in transit, 400 years, not 12, 400. And it didn't end with emancipation. It evolved into sharecropping, into lynching, into redlining, into mass incarceration. The atrocity didn't stop. It just changed its name. I am not a descendant of something that happened. I'm a product of something that never stopped happening. And here's something else they didn't teach you. When they say Holocaust, they say 6 million. 6 million Jewish lives. And that is true. And that matters. But the number is 12 million. 12 million people were systematically murdered by the Nazi regime. The other 6 million were Roma people, people with disabilities, Soviet citizens, Polish people, gay people, Jehovah's Witnesses, and political prisoners, including some black people. Half the victims forgotten by the narrative. Even within the Holocaust itself, the story got edited, got narrowed, got shaped around one group suffering, while others who died in the same camps, in the same gas chambers, on the same trains got written out. If we can't tell the full story of the atrocity we claim to center, what does that tell you about how historical memory actually works? It tells you that even grief has a hierarchy. Even within genocide, some lives get a museum, some lives get the footnote. And it's not just black history that got buried. King Leopold's Congo, up to 10 million people killed, mutilated, enslaved for rubber, documented at the time, ignored by the West. The Armenian genocide, over 1 million dead. America took until 2021 to even officially call it what it was. The Herero Nama people in Nambia, Germany's first genocide of the 20th century against African people decades before the Holocaust. Ask your kids if they learned about it. Ask yourself. Rwanda, 800,000 people in 100 days. The West Watch chose not to intervene and moved on. The Rohingya, the Uyghurs in Yemen. The pattern never stops. So why does one story rise above all others in Western consciousness? Because the Holocaust is a story of white people killing white people. And that broke something in the Western imagination. European civilization, the self-proclaimed peak of human enlightenment, turned on itself. That required confrontation. That required museums and films and curriculum and remembrance days, because the myth of European progress needed explaining. But black suffering, African suffering, Asian suffering, Arab suffering, that never threatened the myth. It was part of the logic that built it. The West didn't need to explain those deaths because those deaths were already written into the system as acceptable, as inevitable, as the cost of progress. I want to be clear that the Holocaust was real. The suffering was real. 12 million people murdered systematically. That matters. That should be taught. All 12 million, not 6. But so should the Congo, so should Armenia, so should the Middle Passage, so should what's happening right now, today, in places the evening news has already decided you don't need to care about. The question was never whether Jewish suffering mattered. The question is why Western civilization built an entire architecture of memory around one genocide while letting the others dissolve into footnotes. And even within that genocide, lets half of its victims dissolve too. The answer, the honest answer, if we're going to be honest, is that the value assigned to human suffering in the Western world has always been and continues to be filtered through race, through politics, through power. Whose grief gets institutionalized, whose museums get federal funding, whose story gets told in every classroom every year without fail. That's not history, that's power. And deciding who gets to be fully human. I was a black child sitting in a classroom in New York being taught that someone else's pain was the worst pain in human history. Nobody taught me that my existence itself is a proof of an atrocity that the world has never fully reckoned with. Nobody taught me that even the atrocity they did teach, they only taught me half of. They should have. We all should have. Stay blessed.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching. And let's just be sincere. Whenever you see Trump, is he not looking like the characteristics of where he is coming from? I'm sorry. Oh my God, Sonia, can you stop this? Whenever you see the orange man, is he literally not his representative? I just want to know, because you won't tell me that every single thing and every single message is being passed out here is not what the orange man is. It is. It is. When you see people that want to colonize things, when you see people that want to rightfully be in a position, either wrong or whatever, they don't care. These are the kind of spirits you are seeing. You should know that it is not, it didn't just start now. It started then. It started from that time. And you see why I keep saying in my videos that a lot of things that some of these white children portray is as a result of what they have literally grown up to be, grown up to see, grow up to learn, grow up to emulate from their parents, their grandfather, their grandmother. This is the typical example of it. This is a typical absolute example of who the orange man is. And you can see one of our brothers said he wants to say a very big thank you to Trump. And I want to also use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the orange man. Thank you for becoming a wake-up call to people that literally do not want to listen to Black Americans. Thank you for becoming a wake-up call to farmers that never knew they were voting their crops, their food away. Thank you for becoming a wake-up call for Latinos that forgot that their husband or their children are illegal in the country, and right now you are deporting them. Thank you for giving us a wake-up call that right now you are WAR with Iran. Thank you for making the whole country, the world generally, to suffer because of your own selfish interests. Thank you for every single thing that you have done. Because what else can we expect? See, I've gotten to that point whereby nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing about this orange man surprises me anymore. I can tell you for a whole fact. Look at what the history is saying. The history started from his grand great-father to his grandfather. It's just like it's a generational thing. They love to occupy. So, but when you are saying these people are undocumented, have it at the back of your mind that you were also not a citizen. When you are saying, oh, black people, blah, 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 black Americans, this and that, have it at the back of your mind that you are also from a product of someone's issue. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. But I'm happy that some white folks are getting a wake-up call. I think we see a lot of videos recently, not because we started talking and started advocating that we don't want to be seeing this kind of videos again. We don't care if you regret or not regret. We've seen a lot of videos where they literally start crying now. Oh, we regret diesel per gallon is $4, $8. Oh, we can't even farm. We can't even feed our children. We can't even stay in the house. We can't do this. We can't do that. We're happy. Congratulations, because that is the wake-up call that a lot of you need to adjust. You know, if something did not happen, a lot of people will not learn their lesson. It's as simple as that. And I'm happy a lot of people are learning, but they are learning in the hard way. Congratulations. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section, and credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. Do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.